Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to attempt to restore one of my mother's vintage Kens. Now, the shoulder was broken and he had some staining, and I guess one of us, or my sister, got to him with a Sharpie. So, let's go ahead and get him fixed. See you at the end. We are going to be working on a Ken. Now, this Ken has some issues. His arm joint right here is busted, so his arm will not stay on. And he's got sideburns drawn on. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. He also has, I'm not sure what that is. Okay, it's just a little schmutz. His other arm, even though it stays on, it's very swingy. So I need to find some ways to actually get that. First thing we gotta do is get rid of these sideburns, and I'm gonna do that with a little bit of benzoyl peroxide and some sunlight. So we'll go ahead and get that on there so he can sit in the sun for a couple days and get him wrapped up with cellophane. And then we'll put him in the window so that the sun can do what it needs to do. Fix this arm joint. I have a nail kit that I got for something and only used it maybe once or twice because it never actually worked for me. But I think if I go ahead and use maybe this beige and do like, this is a UV nail kit. So if I do a base coat around here, I can probably sculpt a little bit of this. So the UV base coat is set. Let's go ahead, well actually let's prep this first. So this is the monomer that you use to push around. This is the brush that you use. Get it cleaned up. And I think this one may be the right shade. In hindsight, it would have worked if I knew actually how to use this monomer and this UV gel, but I ended up putting other things into it just to strengthen it, but it kind of worked, but it was very fragile. So if you're going to go this route, go with something else, preferably. Now we just gotta sand it. Okay, let's test out his arm. Okay, it's on there. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Oh, well, maybe. Maybe I just need to build up a little bit more on the inside, especially back here. And for a color match, this actually works pretty well on a Ken. So number 4, if anybody wants to know what it is, that's what it is. back to sanding. We'll get back to that in just a minute. So as for a color match, I think that works pretty well. And I think I'm gonna have to just go ahead and boil the arms again and pop them in, because I don't want to crack what I just did, but I also want it to stay in there. So the other arm, I think if I go ahead and boil it and then try to jam something in there to expand the plastic a little bit more, it should work. So we'll work on the arms. I have the arms in boiling hot water, and I need this one so that we can try and expand the joint and let it cool completely. Okay. So, and let that stay off to the side and cool. Now for the other one. Should be pliable enough to pop in, and we'll let that one cool completely, and then we can come back and probably reboil that one to get it back in. I don't know yet, but it needs to cool in a position. Okay, we'll let it cool completely and then come back. Here's the can. Little situation is that it needs to be built up a little bit more on the inside. So I'm going to take some 2-part epoxy and make a little bit of a connection, or build up the plastic a little bit more. Safety first. As I had stated before, this is when I added more polymer to the body itself to build up the plastic. Because the plastic had cracked, I didn't want to have the original plastic crack even more, so I added some of the 2-part epoxy clay to the shoulder to build it up, and then I went back and sanded it down. I'll let this cure for the 24 hours and then come back and do a little light sanding with a sanding block, and then hopefully that'll keep this arm from falling out. As for his head, this is now the 2nd week, and it's gotten somewhat rid of his sideburns that somebody has drawn on there, but I don't know. Maybe I can give it one more round and then see if that'll work. We're just gonna have to give it a try. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I heated the arm, put it back on there, but the amount of this plastic being so dry rotted, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Plus, it'll be underneath his clothes. You'll never see this, but yeah, this one, it is what it is when the plastic starts to degrade, so meh. And the other arm is still a little swingy, but I thought I fixed it, but I didn't. Still waiting on the head. So he's been in the window for about a week now, and you can see that it has not really come off, but I attribute that to the amount of rain and storms that we've had lately here in the Northeast. And so we're gonna go ahead and glob some more on and then rewrap him and put him back into the window for another week. put him in the cup so he stays upright. And that way he gets even sun on both sides of his head. So we'll go ahead and put him back into the sun and wait another week. I think I give up. Still has a sideburn, so whatever marker this is did not take him off. So I think I'll just let him dry, attach his head, get him dressed, and maybe revisit this at a later date. Not doing so hot on these. I don't know why, but maybe at a later date. Hopefully this was a little bit educational, and under his clothes you cannot see the restoration, but maybe in the future I can learn a little bit more about plastic reconstruction and attempt again trying to get rid of his sideburns. So if this is the type of content you are interested in, remember to like, share, subscribe, and come back for another video. We'll see you later. Tschüssi!